You are going to be the same person you are today in the next 5 years, except for 3 things: the books you read, the friends you keep, and the impartations that you receive. This is Leaders Arise with Demola Awoyele. We have been discussing the secrets of an amazing year. And today, we want to consider one more secret that I believe will be a huge blessing to you as you prepare for year 2021. And I call it relationship. Relationships. Now, one thing I want you to do for me or for yourself as we round up year 2020 is to review your relationships. The truth of the matter is, you are where you are today because of the relationships you have kept or you refuse to keep. You see, your relationships will determine your destiny. Somebody rightly said that who you company with determines what accompanies you. Your association determines your acceleration. If you are crawling today, could it be that you are walking with chickens or snails as friends? If you are flying today, you can rest assured that you have other eagle companies that you actually are in a relationship with, because your association determines your acceleration. As you go into year 2021, you need to shed some weight. And by weight, I mean practices, habits, and most importantly, relationships that are not helping your progress in life and destiny. You and I know that weights are liabilities. Weights are stuff that will help you to run as fast as you should run, to soar as high as you should soar. In fact, mountain climbers, they normally travel light. I've not seen an athlete that is wearing heavy materials in the race. Most times they put on pants and very light wears so that they can be light enough to be swift or to run fast in that race. The same thing about life, particularly year 2021. You cannot afford to carry some extra luggages or extra baggages that will slow you down, that will impede your progress in year 2021. And that is why I want you to be objective about this discourse on relationship. Sit down with yourself and take an inventory of the relationships in your life. Don't be sentimental. Don't be biased. Sit down with yourself. Take an inventory of the relationships in your life and ask yourself, how have I fared in these relationships? Look at a few people that you have related with in year 2021 and ask yourself, what has been the impact of this person in my life? There are some people that in year 2020, they caused you pain. There are some people that in year 2020, they increased your anxiety. There are some people that made you competitive because of the way they postured around you. There are some that made you become envious. I'm not saying you should blame people for your weaknesses, but I'm saying there are some relationships in your life that are causing tension in your life. Look at Abraham and Lot, for instance. When Lot was still with Abraham, there was strife every now and then. The herdsmen of Abraham and the herdsmen of Lot, they were always striving. They were always fighting. So that constituted a distraction to the destiny of Abraham. Until Abraham woke up one day, Genesis 13, and he called Lot and said, we are brethren. We can't afford to be fighting. We have a great destiny ahead of us. Let us separate so that we'll put an end to this quarrel. There are some people you have to call like that. Maybe you call them as physically or as obviously as you can, or you use wisdom to separate yourself from them. Because you have looked critically into their relationship with you in year 2020. They have added more sorrows to you than they have added joy. They have caused more anxiety than they have given you peace. They have caused more strife than they have caused you that have helped your success. They have caused more agitation than rest. They have caused more, they have made you to be more fearful than faithful or faith-filled. And these are relationships you have got to chop off your life, because you cannot afford to carry such excess luggage into year 2021. And that's a major assignment you have got to carry out. You can't afford to go into year 2021 with the same excess luggage of relationships that you took into year 2020. And perhaps there are some people in your life too that you need. Maybe for one reason or the other, you couldn't get them into your life, or you separated prematurely from them, and you have reviewed your life. You have seen that you lacked some things. Maybe you lack discipline, for instance, in year 2020. That means you need relationships in your life that will help your life of discipline. Maybe you lack accountability. You did whatever you wanted to do, anytime, anyhow you wanted to do it. It means that you need relationships in year 2021 that will bring you into accountability. Maybe in year 2021 or 2020, your prayer life was almost zero. Maybe you need people in your life that will stir you up and fire you up in your prayer life. Maybe in year 2020, you couldn't dare some great and serious things because you didn't have people in your life that will challenge you, that will energize you, that will encourage you, that will inspire you, that will stir you up. And that's why you couldn't achieve as much as you would have loved to achieve. Year 2021 must be a different year. You cannot afford to repeat the same cycle of experience in year 2021. And that's why when you do a relationship audit, you will be able to know the people that you lacked in year 2020 that you will need in year 2021. You will see the people that you carried into your life in year 2020 that you have got to offload in year 2021. So relationship is a major strategy or a major secret of an amazing year 2021. And can I encourage you also to pray some people into your life? I'm saying this from the Holy Spirit. You have got to pray some people into your life. You see, there are some mysteries about relationships. I know relationship has their practical dimensions. I'm going to talk about that to wrap up this episode of Leaders Arise. But there is also the spiritual side of relationships. There are some people that walked into your life in year 2020 that you know that you couldn't have had them by yourself. There is the divine factor to bringing such people into your life. And I want to encourage you that as you go into year 2021, pray some people into your life. And that's one of the prayers you have got to pray before this year is over. Lord, bring into my life the right people. Remember in 1 Samuel chapter 9, all right, and chapter 10 or thereabout, the story of Saul. When Samuel met Saul, by the way, that's a form of relationship entirely. Even though Saul never maximized that relationship well in the later end of his life and ministry. But for God to have brought Samuel to Saul's life is a major relationship in the life of Saul. But that's not where I'm going. In 1 Samuel chapter 9 or thereabout, Saul told, chapter 10, Samuel told Saul, he said, you will go forward and you will meet a company of prophets, and they will give you this, they will give you that, and when you get into their midst, the Spirit of God will rest upon you, and you would prophesy with them. He said, do as occasion demands, because God is with you. That is purely supernatural. It wasn't a function of the relational skill of Saul. Am I against relational skill? Not at all. I'm going to talk about that very, very soon. But I'm saying it was purely supernatural. Saul wasn't looking for a relationship. In fact, Saul was looking for a lost ass or donkey, and God brought Samuel his way. Amen. All right. And not only that, Saul was not looking for prophetic relationship, but there was an input of Samuel in his life that opened up that supernatural dimension of his life that connected him with such a relationship. And the Bible said the Spirit of God came upon Saul and he prophesied with them. And those that knew Saul before, when they saw Saul again, they began to question and wonder, is Saul also among the prophets? That means something amazing happened in the life of Saul that took everybody by surprise. And I want to prophesy over somebody today that in year 2021, something amazing will happen in your life that will take your world by surprise. People will ask you, is Demola also among the major preachers and ministers in the city of Akure in Ondo State in Nigeria and the world at large? Somebody will ask you, are you also part of the big business guys in town or in our world? Are you also part of the great guys in that field? Why? Because they see you in the company of great people. Not only that, you were doing exactly what they were doing because their grace has rubbed off on you. But never forget that that is not a function of your relationship skill. That was purely a function of the prophetic side of your life that God has actually brought into bear or brought to bear. And that's why I need you to pray that as you enter year 2021, Lord, bring into my life critical relationships. You know, there are some people that enter into your life and everything multiplies. And I pray that such people will find their way into your life. I know what I'm saying, and I'm praying that for myself too. That as I enter into year 2021, God will remove from my life dividers and subtractors. God will bring into my life adders and multipliers. There are some people that they enter into your life, everything changes, everything multiplies. You were operating as on a scale, on a note of 1 or 2 before, and now you are on 10. Now you are on 100. They bring geometric progression into your life. Sincerely, you have got to pray for such people. As much as it's important you pray bad people away, that's another counsel. Pray some people away from your life. Some people, they have come to attach themselves to your life and say they won't leave you. You try to break off, you try to avoid them. The more you try to unsee them, they keep bringing themselves into your sight. The more you try to avoid them, they keep showing up in your sphere. And sometimes some of those things are beyond physical. You need to pray them away from your life. So pray away negative people, dividers, subtractors, distractors. Pray away people that are slowing you down. And most importantly, pray the right people into your life. Or maybe I will say it also this way. Pray for yourself into the right relationship, because it can happen in either way. See that the right people come into your life, or you go and find yourself in the midst of the right people. There is a supernaturalness, all right, to relationships. There is a dimension of relationships that God himself orchestrates around a man that helps that man to become all that God has ordained him to become. And I want to pray for you that in year 2021, God will bring you into critical relationships. Relationships that will help you, that will become the bridge between where you are and where you are supposed to be, that will become ladders to the place of greatness that you are aspiring to get to. Relationships that are going to help you to fulfill God's dreams for your life, to fulfill God's purpose for your life. Relationships that will help you realize your God-given potential and destiny. And that's the spiritual or supernatural dimension of relationship. There is also the practical dimension of relationship. Proverbs 17 says, he that must have friends must show himself friendly. And that is the law of relationship. As much as it is important that you review your relationship so that you can repel or take up the wrong relationship and attract the right relationship, you've also got to position yourself for the right relationship, because he that must have friends must show himself friendly. So the first place to begin, aside praying for critical relationship, is to also position yourself for such relationship. And how do you position yourself for such relationship? Proverbs 17 tells us that you must show yourself friendly. And I will explain it in 2 ways. Number 1, you must become the kind of people or person you want to become. Or maybe I'll say it this way: you must aspire to become the kind of person you want to attract. If you want to attract herders in your life, be an herder. If you want to attract multipliers in your life, be a multiplier. If you want to attract encouragers, be an encourager. If you want to attract givers, be a giver. If you want to attract people of value, be a person of value. So one way to position yourself for the right relationship is to become the right person, is to become the kind of person you want to attract. You may not be that all by yourself. You may not be all of that at the moment, but you must make it your goal. I want to be somebody that is a person of value so that I can attract value. I want to be a person of excellence so I can attract excellent-minded people. I want to be a person of discipline so I can apply disciplined people. So whoever or whatever you want to attract, make sure that you develop into that thing yourself, because you will not attract what you desire, you will attract what you deserve. You will not attract who you desire or what you desire, you will attract what you have. And that's the first thing to say. The second thing under the practical side of relationship is to ensure that you are a relational person. You see, somebody said that perhaps the most important skill in the school of success is relationship building skill. Sincerely, my brother or my sister, whoever you are, everybody has got to develop relationships management skill. That is perhaps one major factor for success in life and in any endeavor. And listen to me, this is not first a function of temperament. It's first a function of understanding and a function of responsibility. I know some temperaments are more relational than another. Some temperaments are easier to connect with people than some other temperament. But everybody can develop relational ability or relational skill. You don't have to be the high sounding type, you don't have to be the smiling type or what have you, but you must learn how to connect with people. And that is what relational skill is about. It's not about being able to shout, joke or laugh as it is with some temperament. It's about knowing how to connect with people. It's not first about your shouting or your talking as a sanguine or choleric. It is about you knowing how to connect with people. Now, somebody may want to ask me, Pastor Demola, how do I connect with people? Before I round up today, maybe I'll continue this in the next episode. The simple way to connect with people is to meet people where they are. Is to always find a common ground that can help you relate with people. You can't connect with people by holding onto your turf or holding onto your ground. The way to connect with people is to meet people where they are. In John chapter 4, Jesus connected with the woman of Samaria who ended up becoming the lady evangelist that brought the gospel to that entire city, because Jesus met her where she was. Jesus began by relating with her on a note of give me a drink, because she came to fetch water, and that opened up a conversation with that woman. And that's how to connect with people. Connect with them at their level. That's why you must be a good observer. Observe what somebody does. Observe what somebody likes. Observe the uniqueness of each individual that you come in contact with in life, and with that observation, you are able to note where it is you can begin a conversation or a relationship with that person. And that presupposes that people that will build the right relationship, they are not selfish people. They look beyond me, myself, and I. They look up, they look towards the other person. Alright, they consider the other person above themselves. When they're in a conversation, they are not trying to sell their ideas. They are not trying to do the talking. They are trying to do the listening. They are trying to hear what the other person has to say, because they want to meet that person on the ground of that person. And with that, you are able to strike a conversation or a connection with that person. I may not have said all there is to how you can build relationship, but I believe that this simple tip I have shared with you today will equip you, encourage you to go right there into year 2021 building critical relationship. And I've said two things majorly: pray yourself into the right relationship, then of course have the skill to connect with the right people. And I pray today that your year 2021 will be amazing, because God will bring the right relationships into your life and you will maximize them for an amazing year. Thank you for being a part of today's broadcast on Leaders Arise. I'll meet with you again on the next episode. I wish you an amazing 2021. God bless you.